As you know, last year, the truck event came to town and wreaked havoc in our community. So much so that all of us got together with our legislative delegation, Representative Leak, Senator Wright, and asked for a pop-up event bill that would give us the ability to declare an area a special event zone where towing, we could tow people, loud music ordinance would be enforced, and traffic fines would be doubled. So here we are a year later, and this is our first bite at the apple with the special event zone. So I have signed the proclamation that the special event zone will run from the northern tip of Bel Air Plaza all the way down to Dunlawton, and it will cover the entire peninsula. There are signs out there now. There are signs on the beach. There are signs on A1A. There are signs on Peninsula. There are signs on Halifax warning anybody that if you come into this zone and your truck does not fit the specifications of a street legal truck, we're towing it. If you are out there acting like the fool and showing your ass, we're going to show our ass, and you're going to end up with traffic fines that are doubled. The special event zone starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning in that designated area, and it will run until the event dissipates. So if your truck is jacked up this high off the ground, it's going to get towed and it's going to get impounded. So be forewarned. Other part of this law gives the sheriff the power to civilly come after any promoter that does not go about this the right way and get the proper permits. Meaning that Tristan L. Smith of St. Augustine and Andrew Gregory Tashbar from Sebastian, who are continually promoting this event on Facebook, they were sent letters. And basically the letters outline the law and outline the fact that every single bit of overtime that we incur, that any fire or EMS costs that occur, that any sanitation issue that occurs, they will be held civilly liable. That I will come after them civilly to recover the monies that we have to spend for this pop-up event. To give you an example how it would have worked had the law been in effect when Invade Daytona came, the woman would have been responsible for $101,000 in costs that we all incurred for a pop-up event. There's a way to do events. There's a permitting process that you go through. There's a vetting process that you go through. That is for public safety. That is to ensure that our community gets the quality of life that they deserve. If you're going to sit behind a keyboard and you think you're going to promote an event and you're going to promote havoc, we're coming to get you. We're going to come and get you. If you think you're going to come here and act like the fool, we're coming to get you. If you're going to come here and follow the law and you're going to enjoy our amenities, we want you here. But if you're going to come here and act the fool, we are pushing back. We are going to protect our community. We're going to protect our businesses. And I have these gentlemen behind me with any questions that you may or may not have.
Sure. Why such a bad taste with this particular event? What's some examples that you guys had to deal with in the past that made it so bad?
I think the best example that I could give you is our own Air One footage, our body camera footage is behind us, and the idiots who filmed themselves and posted what they were doing on Facebook. That's how this law got passed, because Senator Wright and Representative Leak just showed their own videos, and people were appalled that you would come in and take over an area in a community and think all this is good stuff. You know, the urinating in public, the trucks that weren't street legal that were converted to look like tanks, the swimming pools in the back of trucks, the fights that occurred. I mean, it's just, that's not what we're about. That's not what our community is about, and that's not what any of us up here want to see. We want people coming here, going to our restaurants. We want families here. We want this to be a destination, not and I'm going to knock the chamber, wide open fun. That's bullshit.
Chairman, I know this event was here, and then they said they were moving to South Florida. Maybe the chief can answer this, Chief Young. What makes you guys certain that some of that crowd will be coming here?
Well, just like the sheriff has already laid out, monitoring social media, we do still see this event being promoted in our area, but it's far less than what we were getting the past 3 years. I think, you know, everybody's aware that we spent the better part of the last 3 years rigorously dealing with and enforcing this event. with the goal of eventually getting this thing relocated to a different venue. And we've been successful in getting it relocated down to Homestead, Florida. But because of what we're still seeing on social media, we're gearing up to deal with some trucks that could potentially be, coming this weekend. But the goal is that we're over-prepared. That's the goal, because when we look at, social media, it is in South Florida. It's largely being promoted in South Florida. But you're still going to have some that are going to want to show up here, and we're ready to deal with whatever comes.
Chief, I talked briefly, you said before, anybody is welcome.
Right.
But you got to play by the rules.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a free country. We have a constitution. We're not trying to stop anybody from coming, but we're laying down the law that if you come here, you better know how to behave. You better know how to act. No one's going to be allowed to come here and be destructive, and you're not going to take over anything. Because if you try it, we got a place for you, and we got a place for your truck. It's that simple.
Sheriff, you did mention something during your presentation that if trucks don't meet specifications, they're going to get towed. What kind of specifications are you maybe putting in place that maybe these people should be aware of?
It's called the Motor Vehicle Code. It's called the Motor Vehicle Code. You know that a truck that's 8 feet off the ground is not street legal. Shouldn't be on the street, shouldn't be on the road. It's getting towed. You know that if you have certain lights on your vehicle and it's nighttime, can't operate your vehicle with these certain kind of lights in there. Your car's going to get towed. So you have to follow the equipment. That's what it is. And when we have a printout of all the tickets of all the violations, this law was born out of the recklessness that occurred and the fact that we're behind the 8 ball now in law enforcement. Somebody could sit at a keyboard in New York and decide we're going to invade Daytona Beach shores, or we're going to take over the boardwalk, or we're going to do whatever, and we were powerless to do anything about it. Well, now we're not powerless. If you want to sit behind that keyboard and you want to promote events, there's a way to do business. You want to do an event, you have to go through the permitting process. We have to have input. We have to have medical personnel on scene. You have to have sanitation on scene. We have to bring extra resources in. Why should somebody sit there at a keyboard and then cost the taxpayers and the people that live here hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars? We're going to promote an event. It's not going to happen. And this is the way we're doing business from here on out. This is the first event. I don't care what it is. I don't care what your race is. I don't care if you come from Mars. If you promote, come in here and you don't go through the proper thing, you sit behind a keyboard, this is going to go into place, and then I am going to go after you civilly to recover every penny that we have to put out to police this event. It's not fair to the community that they should have to be held hostage by some blogger. It's not fair.
Sheriff, you talk about going after the promoters if there's issues with these events, and a lot of these promoters probably don't have the money or will refuse to pay. How realistic is it for us to expect the taxpayers are going to be reimbursed for our issues?
We'll put a lien on everything they own. We have a whole legal team behind us. They all have legal teams behind us. If you live with your parents, well, we have a lien on your parents' house. We're going to do everything we can using the civil process to recoup what we've lost. And it'll destroy you in the end. If you have a civil penalty against you for a judgment for $101,000, what's it do to you? Not that you really care, but at the end of the day, at least it's another tool in the toolbox.
Are there actual planners promoting Volusia, Daytona this weekend, Sheriff?
We have Andrew Gregory Tashbar of Sebastian, Florida, and Tristan L. Smith from St. Augustine. And you guys are more than welcome to get copies of the letters that we reviewed by our legal team and sent out. This is an unpermitted and unsanctioned event that will disrupt the normal flow of traffic on the roadways and interfere with and jeopardize the public health, the safety, and the welfare of the persons who come into Daytona Beach for this unpermitted and unsanctioned event. This is not safe, nor is it fair for you to promote this unpermitted and unsanctioned event. And again, we urge you to cease and desist. We sent a copy of the new law in place. I mean, we cannot make it any clearer. I'm proud of these men behind us that we were able to persuade our legislative delegation, and again, using their own Facebook videos and TikTok videos and everything else they did, to say this is a problem. We're the first county to really enact, since this was signed into law about 3 weeks ago or a month ago, we're the first people to actually go out and do this, and we heard our community. You know, I think everybody up here will tell you, our respective cities and county residents, everybody saw the after meetings. I mean, we had the big meeting at the
City Commission meeting afterwards, the Ocean Center.
The Ocean Center meeting where it was packed. People don't want this to occur. And what right do they have to promote lawlessness on Facebook?
Chief Young, I know in the past you've used the pink pass or restricted access on Main Street just to business people and
Right.
people. Is anything like that potentially?
No, we didn't put anything like that in place. You know, we just came through Memorial Day weekend with Orlando invades Daytona, the graduation, so on and so forth. So what we did was we put a plan in place to hold the Main Street Bridge if it reached that point, meaning if I had backups on the other bridges, then we would put something in place to reserve the Main Street Bridge for residents, business owners, people going to work, you know, things of that nature. So no, we didn't do the pink P, but, you know, in the event that, you know, it gets to that point, we will do the same thing as far as the Main Street Bridge is concerned.
Are you able to talk about the manpower that will be on the beach side this weekend, what we're looking at in terms of numbers?
I don't have the specific numbers for you, but we staffed up, and I believe we've staffed appropriately. And then, you know, if I need to bring more resources in based on what we see, I'll be able to bring more resources in. So it's going to look very similar to what it looked like over there for Memorial Day weekend. And it's not just us, it's a partnership, you know, with the Sheriff's Office, Beach Patrol, the Shores, everybody. We all work together pretty well as a team.
Chief Dembinsky, and maybe you can address this. This is an event that bleeds over into your city that usually doesn't see the kind of action Daytona gets on a regular basis. But this truck event particularly affected you.
About 80% of our residents live on the beach. And I have never had so many complaints about traffic, about not being able to get in or out of their houses or their condos. This was brought about basically by Senator Wright and Representative Leake, who heard the complaints of the citizens and got a bill passed in the state legislature in record time. I've never seen a bill pass this fast. And this affects basically tourist areas, beach areas, maybe 5 areas. Panama City is going to be involved, Miami Beach, any area that has this type of event that wants to come. I've never had this kind of complaints before. And what they did, like the sheriff said about the videos, that we all saw these videos, that was horrible. And I was on the street watching these underage drinkers, these kids, lewd and lascivious behavior, with this rolling, the black smoke coming out up and down A1A. It was horrible. And we don't want that to happen again. And these are unsanctioned events, just like the sheriff says, they sit at a computer and they plan this stuff. All of a sudden, there's thousands here.
Was there actual physical damage that you saw maybe on the beach as well, injury, you know, that kind of thing, that, you know, environmental damage, if you will?
Absolutely. You watch these big trucks doing donuts on the beach, watch them doing wheelies, they tear up the beach. The concessionaires were complaining to me that they couldn't even get their trailers off the beach at the end of the day because they were so tore up. So we're hoping that this doesn't happen again. We know that this law has really, really good teeth in it, and that, quite frankly, if people come here and break the law and do things like the sheriff was talking about, they will not be happy because they'll be going home without their trucks with a lot of citations.
Chief, the sheriff was talking about the financial cost of these events. You're a smaller city. This has to adversely affect you too, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does, obviously. Really what it affects is our taxpayers, but our city is so upset with this kind of thing that they never say anything. They know that we have to staff up. I've got officers from other departments all around the county coming to help, just as Chief Young does. This is a necessary expense, and if the sheriff can recoup some of these costs, that would be great for us too. But at the end of the day, we're going to do what we have to do to keep our city safe.
Chief, we talk about bringing in more staff and stuff like that, so you're going to wrap up patrols, you're going to bring in more officers than usual for the weekend?
Oh, yes. Yes, you'll see a lot of police activity all the way from Dunlawton to the north end of Bel Air Plaza. All of us work very, very well together. The sheriff is extremely generous with his personnel. Other chiefs donate officers to us, and they have to pay those officers. We don't pay them. And this is a cost to everybody in the county. And it's a cost that shouldn't have to be borne.
I'm guessing it's the same thing with the beach right there, Director Ethridge.
Yes, with these unsanctioned, unpermitted events, they have no venue, so the beach becomes the de facto venue for these events during the day. We're fortunate that we're able to shut that beach down at the end of the day and we can clear it off, but the party still goes on, and it's why we have problems up on the road and in the parking lots. The crowd is looking for somewhere to hang out and have these pop-up parking lot parties. But you know, with the nature of our job, we still have the rest of the 47 miles of beach to protect, and over the last couple of days, you know, we've rescued almost 150 people out of the ocean, out of rip currents. So these events draw our resources away from those other things, and you know, we're always constantly trying to maintain life over law. And when these events come in, they draw our resources out. So we're not able to focus as much on that. And so it's very, very important that we have these tools to help us deter some of these activities. We want everyone to come here and have a good time. We want them to be safe. You know, the beach is a very controlled environment. It's basically a park with driving. So we want everyone to be under control, safe, and have a good time.
Sheriff, have you heard from the promoters?
We have not heard since we sent the letters out. And it was the same thing with the Invade Daytona. She took to Facebook blasting us saying that we were racist for sending it out. But anybody that promotes a pop-up event, we're coming after you. We're going to send you a bill no matter who you are, and we're coming to get you. I mean, it's really simple.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.